to the Blue Jays Today show, where today, guys, we're going to be covering the Ross Atkins presser for y'all, getting all the quotes, sending them over to you, breaking it down, talking about it, and of course reacting as fans do. Sorry, apologies, we are not doing our normal 12 o'clock time. This is when the pressers happen. We figured we'd do it here with y'all, but it should be a good one. Other than that, we're going to be talking about the Yankee series coming up, talking about the Red Sox series we just had, and how good are we feeling about these Toronto Blue Jays, and of course, spinning the wheel, crowning Jay of the Week, and more. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. If somebody can let us know if this is being broadcast somewhere in the chat, that would be awesome. I've been frantically refreshing and looking around.
Yeah,
I don't think it is, or else we would have heard something by now. So honestly, we'll just be kind of reacting to all the quotes that come out from, I assume, Keegan, Ben, Shai, all those guys who got boots on the ground, Tyson. If there is some type of stream, though, that I've missed, please let me know, and we will pull that up for you guys. You can hear the live audio. But for now, I don't even think Sportsnet's on this. So we're just going to be scouring Twitter and giving our honest reactions as they come in. Hit that like, smash subscribe button. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. Before we get into that, though, let's talk about the series that was on the weekend. Boston Red Sox. We said, actually, I think I said exactly what happened, which was we win game one pretty handily.
Me too.
We lose game two, but then we win game three. Now, honestly, game three was a little bit tighter than I expected it to be. Walker Buehler on the bump. I thought that we were just going to absolutely steamroll those Boston Red Sox. They made it kind of close, though. 5-3 win. You still take it. You still feel good about it. Lauer didn't have his best stuff ever.
No.
This was his second outing in the season, giving up 3 or more earned runs. So, I mean, not his best stuff there, but still, I believe in the guy wholeheartedly. I love him. Yariel Rodriguez, dog, came in a situation that was scary where they immediately could have, taken the game back. Did not let them. Thoughts, takeaways from this series in Fenway Park?
You did what you had to do against a struggling Boston Red Sox team. Now, I know people look at that, I don't even remember the score, 14-1 victory? I can't remember. I blacked it out in my mind. You look at that and they go, oh, well, that's fraudulent activity right there. Hey, that's going to happen. Look, Bassett did not have his stuff, and from that point on, the game was completely over. But for what I like about this series, you saw some good hitting, some good pitching out of the pen. I mean, this game was a prime example of it right here. You got Brendan Little coming in, Yariel Rodriguez. That's been the 1-2 punch that we've been waiting for. And there you go. Jeff Hoffman, a clean 1-2-3 inning with 3 strikeouts. Isn't that lovely, guys? Isn't that just awesome to see? That guy had a good outing. Honestly, you got some power from the boys. You got Barge with a homer. You got Guerrero with a homer. Things were good. Things were good for me, and you did what you got to do against a division rival. You put them further in the dirt. What I'm really focused on right here is the series coming up against the New York Yankees.
This might be the most important series of the year.
Yeah,
and I know that we've said that multiple times. Seriously, I've probably said that over 5 times at this point. But now that we're here, and now that the Toronto Blue Jays are actually genuinely in a position where, hey, the division is not outlandish. It is not unrealistic to imagine a reality where maybe they could end up leading that division, walking into the All-Star break. This series is absolutely crucial.
It is, man. I mean, it can't come at a better time, too. Canada Day weekend. Well, I was going to say weekend. It's Canada Day week.
Right.
That's awesome, right?
Maybe extended weekend for some.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was at a pool party yesterday, and people were like, yeah, I got Monday and Tuesday off. I'm like, haha, nice. That's funny. But some people do. And shout out to those people. But yeah, this is a very important series. And the Yankees, they've been playing better as of late. They're 6-4 in their last 10. The bats are really starting to pick up for them a little bit. There was a time when everybody was struggling. Now, in the last week, you got Cody Bellinger popping off a little bit. Aaron Judge being back to Aaron Judge. Jazz back healthy, doing some good stuff in the lineup for the Yankees. So their lineup is no slouch, and their rotation is absolutely lethal, and we're going to get all of it, guys. We're going to get Carlos Rodon, who's been gross. Max Fried, a Cy Young contender right there. If he'd be a Cy Young automatically. I mean, well, maybe Tariq Skubal and him. We're gonna compare stats.
Honestly, those are
like really good.
Those are the two right now.
Yeah.
However, when it comes down to just like overall impact, from my understanding, it is Skubal. But Max Fried has been also having a phenomenal season.
Crazy season. Will Warren, like, where did this guy come from, and why? Like, he's one of their prospects, and why is he doing so good as of late? The ERA, don't get fooled by it. He's been good. Clark Schmidt, like, he had an outing there where he almost threw a no-no. Like, that's crazy. Clark Schmidt's been having, and we're literally missing Marcus Stroman, which is the worst part of the rotation. So we're getting all their guys, and we're gonna have all of our, I guess, quote, best guys, if you don't count Eric Lauer, if you just count like the name value, Max Scherzer, Bassett, Barrios, Gausman. So it's gonna be a fun series, and I cannot wait. We'll break it down a little bit later after the Ross Atkins presser, but my goodness, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll be live for it too.
Yeah, of course. We're actually going to be live for tomorrow's game, everybody, and then we were thinking about maybe going live for a following game at some point during this Yankee series, because it is just such a big one. Before we, get into the Ross Atkins stuff, because I've been scouring Twitter, and apparently it's, not happening just quite yet. I wanted to bring up the schedule after this Yankees series, because everybody's looking at this Yankee series and thinking, okay, this is it. This is the one that really puts you on the map. You get to take games directly away from New York, which is totally true. But looking at the following series prior to that All-Star break, and that's why I brought that up at the top of the show, it's not unrealistic to think that in 2 weeks' time, Toronto Blue Jays could actually be in a position where they are either tied for the division or leading it. Because after that Yankee series, you go Angels at home, and then Chicago White Sox and the Athletics. That is the easiest stretch of the season that we have had to date.
Yeah, 100%, right? Even though it's on the road, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you might be like, oh, well, we lost against the White Sox. Okay,
different ball team, different time.
We just lost them a couple of weeks
different
ago.
Ball team, different time.
We're on the same team. What are you talking about? But hey, listen, that's why you play more than just a 3-game series against another AL opponent. Like, we got to go on the road. We got to take 2 or 3, if not sweep these guys. The Athletics, who have been struggling at home, they getting beat up and shelled. I mean, they've been struggling all season long. That's where you got to go, and you got to pound. It's gonna be very hot. Make sure you bring some fans and some water, but you got to go pound those guys. And obviously the Angels come in this weekend. You got to take care of business. And if we can do that, you're right. Like, if we go on and we win 3 of 4 against the Yankees, we're 1 game behind them. And then we go on a good stretch where we can easily leapfrog ahead of them. Yeah. And we got to take advantage.
That's the thing, right? I do truly believe that after that Yankee series, like Toronto Blue Jays, there's 9 games against very easy, beatable opponents. They could easily end up walking away with 6 or 7 W's from that. So if you win 3 out of 4, like you're saying, against the New York Yankees, then we are absolutely laughing.
Let's give a quick shout out here while we're waiting for the Ross Atkins quotes to kind of be dropping. We know it's around 3 o'clock sometime, so we're gonna be waiting and seeing. Let's give a quick shout out here to Budweiser, everybody.
Hell yeah,
man. They're coming on. They're the new partner of Blue Jays today, and they're also the official partner of your Toronto Blue Jays. Baseball is better with your buds. Limited edition Toronto Blue Jays Budweiser cans are now available at your local LCBO. I wanted to bring up the J of the week. We had a few guys out there that had very good weeks. I mean, hell, Kevin Gausman, 8 innings, scoreless, 6 strikeouts, and then you also had George Springer, 8 RBIs, a grand slam, batted .450, OPS over 1,000. I throw out a poll to all of you guys, and you guys let me know who you thought the J of the week was. So, without further ado, let's announce it. J of the week. And the J of the week, I actually don't have a photo up here because I forgot to bring it up, but it is
George Springer. Yeah,
there we go, baby.
We threw it out to the people, folks, and 226 of you guys voted. 42.5% of the individuals thought that George Springer had the best week. In the week, he hit .450, had an on-base of .500, a slugging of .600, which, quick, easy math, works out to be a 1.1 OPS, 8 ribbies in that time. Now, as we said, there were some other great performances. Honestly, if I was voting, I might have been of the mind to give it to Gausman because he was insane. 8 innings, 0 earned runs, 2 hits, and then 6 Ks. However, he finished second. And then following that was Alejandro Kirk, who also batted .438 with an OPS of 1.0 5-0. Did I pick him for OPS?
You did, and he won. Yeah, we'll get to the wheel later, but you had a good week. We're tied up now.
Okay,
Yeah,
all tied up after that.
Yeah, but they're phenomenal, right? They had very good weeks, everybody. I probably wouldn't win Cosmic because it's scoreless. You know, we needed a performance like that. But also, here's a fun fact, and Sophie, I'm glad you called it out here. I'm glad you remembered. It means you're a dedicated fan of the show. Thoroughly deserved and first repeat Jay of the Week. It is June 30th, and that is the first time a Blue Jay has won Jay of the Week.
That's actually crazy that it's George Springer.
I know, right?
Again, like, there's so many weird things about this season that had you asked me or told me in the spring training or in preseason, if you would have said that the first repeat Jay of the Week winner happened at the end of June and that also happened to be George Springer, I would have said that you're crazy and that you're on crack. But this guy's been phenomenal. Unk has still got it. 11 bombs, 265 batting average, the OPS plus of 129. Honestly, making up for what has just been a 0 from Anthony Santander all season long. We needed one of our outfielders, one of our veteran guys to show up and be in the middle, in the meat of that order and actually provide some serious value. That individual is George Springer.
Yeah, he's been awesome. And, you know, we have Jay of the Week and there's also Jay of the Month. Now, you know, moving on from George Springer, there's a lot of good Jays out there. I mean, Alejandro Kirk has been just on an absolute tear this month. Ernie Clement's been phenomenal. Jose Barrios has an ERA under 2 this month. Like, that's crazy. So, guys, if you want to go follow us on Twitter, we do all these polls all the time. Vote who you think Jay of the Month should be. I'll probably put that out tomorrow on Canada Today for our next Blue Jays Today show. We'll give it an announcement. Now, I don't know if we have gotten any updates yet. They might just be talking to Ross.
Nothing yet from Ross Atkins. Yeah, he has not. Apparently, he was supposed to be addressing the media at 3 p.m. And so far, I've been checking all the usual suspects in Keegan Matheson, Shai Davidi, Ben Nicholson-Smith, and nothing yet from Ross. So clearly, he is taking his sweet time. While we are waiting for him, we got 222 people in the chat. So if you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit that like, smash the subscribe button, guys. We're roughly, in fact, actually, I think we are exactly 1 month away from the trade deadline. No, sorry, there's 31 days in July. My bad.
Right.
We are 1 month and 1 day away from the trade deadline. Where are you at right now with this Toronto Blue Jays team? What do they need? Where can they afford to, you know, maybe move some pieces? Just, you know, everything across the board.
Yeah, I think it still stands with me is they need a starting pitcher. I mean, that's obvious. Yeah, they have 5 guys in rotation, but easily Max Scherzer could go down with an injury tomorrow. Literally, like after today's start. You know, I don't want to curse him, knock on wood, but that could happen. Anybody could go down with an injury at any point. You need starting rotation, and even at the bare minimum, you need a 6-man, I think, in August and September. So they do got to go out there and get a starting pitcher. Couple guys that are now officially on the board. I don't have the tweets right here, but Merrill Kelly from the Diamondbacks, that is official. It is being put out there. He is on the trade block. Go get that guy. Luis Severino. I know the ERA looks really bad, but you know, because it's you know the A's and you're playing in Sacramento and all the pitchers suck. But on the road in actual MLB stadiums, this guy's been absolutely dominant. So if you want to go try and buy low there, see if you can maybe take a little of that money. Boom! Like there you go. You can maybe add that guy on your team.
I do see that the lineup is out, which we will go to momentarily, folks. But just to finish or kind of echo your thoughts right there, the fact that Merrill Kelly will apparently assuredly be traded, that came out from Jim Bowden literally like 30 minutes to an hour ago. He was talking about that. Yeah. That instills me with a lot of confidence. We were reading the Jeff Passan article. He had it down at a 30% chance. According to Jim Bowden, it's up to effectively 100%. They are going to ship him off, and we know that Toronto has a great trade relationship, working relationship with those Arizona Diamondbacks. Works out well for us. Yeah, exactly. When did that happen? We've always seemingly been in conversations with them about various of their players. If they're actually on the seller's market, like pillaging their system would be phenomenal, because not only is there Merrill Kelly, there's also Zach Gallen over there, and there are a lot of hitters that I can wrap my head around seeing in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform. Eugenio Suarez is a name where it's like, okay, look, if Santander is not going to be here, if he's not swinging a bat, if there's a good chance that majority of the season he's going to be gone, maybe you make a play for somebody like that and you find a way to, you know, force them into the lineup just to lengthen that thing, just to give the heart of the order just a little bit more thump. him along with, various other individuals. Obviously, Ketel Marte would be great. We're not going to get Ketel Marte. But point being, they have a lot of pieces over there in Arizona that I would be interested in.
Yeah, I'm wondering where where do you put, because he's obviously got to play third base. So then, like, Ernie would go, that's the thing. Jimenez, you're on the bench now. Like, that's effectively what it would be.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I've kind of...
Or you DH him, I guess.
Like, yeah, you'd probably
But then you
have
got to
to...
put George in the outfield.
You'd have to DH somebody. You'd have to... Again, I think it really boils down to where Santander is at. Like, if we know that he's going to be out for a long period of time, then you find a way to make that work, because ultimately, like, good players deserve playing time. Eugenio Suarez is a good player, offensively speaking. So I think that you just kind of do it, and then you figure it out as it goes. And whoever is hot, whether it be him or whether it be an Ernie, like, you're in today, guy. And that's kind of roughly what they've been doing as the season's unfolded, right? The hot bat has been in there. The season started out, and I can tell you right now, Ernie Clement was not batting 2, but today, folks, he certainly is. Lineups out right now. Bo Bichette leading off. Ernie Clement batting 2. Worked out for him the other day. Of Guerrero 3, Alejandro Kirk 4. Go vote, by the way, folks. I'm a big advocate for voting for the people who actually deserve it. Both of those guys deserve it. I wouldn't go so far to say that they deserve necessarily starting spots. Maybe Vlad does, because I think he's up against Goldschmidt, and honestly, he's been falling off quite a bit.
Although, like, Aranda getting snubbed is kind of a disrespect.
Exactly.
But,
that's the thing.
But he's in here, yeah.
There are other individuals who I would probably fight for, but now that they're here, they deserve to go at the very least in a bench spot. So go shoot them a vote, everybody. Springer in the DH spot, batting 5. I mean, that top 5 immediately is looking kind of thick. Dude.
Yeah, that top 5's always been awesome, right? I mean, George Springer, 2-time J of the Week. Like, he's good. I like him, man. Like, he's starting to get a lot of trust back for me. It's not the George Springer of the past. It's the George Springer of David Popkins era. And then after that, you got Barger at 6, which, for a long part of this season, for the last month, this guy was batting either, like, 4th, 3rd, or 2nd. Down in the 6th spot, like, he's been struggling lately, with the curveballs down low, but he just homered the other night. He's obviously still got it when he's looking for his pitch, and he gets it. So him down there is great. Straw, I love. And then you got, Schneider in left field, and then Wagner, second base. Schneider, for me, eventually when Varsho gets back, I feel like there's got to be a roster move there in some capacity. But hey, Will Wagner, shout out to you in second base. No Jimenez tonight. So let's see what Wagner's got. Any expectations on Wagner? Is it kind of the same as, like, hey, if you give me something, great. If not, back to AAA.
Same thing as it was before. It's like Rodin had his chance, and now it's Wagner's opportunity. And it's like, okay, Rodin wasn't really making much of the opportunities that he was given. So let's give it to Wagner. We've seen this guy, perform in the past. I'm interested to see what he's got. I'm not holding my breath for anything spectacular, but honestly, the top 6 in that lineup right there, they can put in work, and that's not something that I think a lot of people expected from the Toronto Blue Jays walking into this season. Springer's good at baseball. Barger's good at baseball. Clement is good, not only defensively, but also offensively good at baseball. These are all unexpected breakouts for us that we just did not see coming, and that's ultimately why you are finding yourself in a spot where Toronto is 7 games above 500, and where we are currently waiting on Ross Atkins to tell us how much of a buyer we are going to be.
I was going to bring up, like, so what are you kind of expecting from Ross Atkins in this presser? Before we give your answers, give a shout out to Absolute Dan right here. Remember, for 10 months, saying Kirk is already in the All-Star game. He's backup catcher behind Cal Raleigh. Yeah, we know. I think there's a second round of voting where it's like you can maybe vote for him to start, which it's not going to happen. Cal Raleigh's smashing it.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh definitely should be the starter there, undeniably. To answer your question about Ross Atkins being, or what it is that I think he is going to say, I think that you're going to hear a lot of speak from him talking about gassing up the Jays and how proud he is of the organization and what they've been doing and how happy he is with John and all that stuff, which, okay, fine. Yeah. Like, pop off, King. You actually earned it this time. You actually earned it. So, like, you get to have your 5 to 10 minutes of just, like, kind of sucking yourself off there. But after he's done doing that, I think that you might get into some of the... where is this team looking when it comes to the trade deadline? How aggressive are they going to be? What is the priority? And I think that you're going to hear him give a little bit of insight as to exactly how they are going to address this. My anticipation is that he is going to be rather aggressive. I think that he's going to say something along the lines of, we are exploring all our options right now. Pretty much everything is on the table. We are prioritizing starting pitching. I think that he may say something like that. All of those things would be right in the wheelhouse of Ross Atkins.
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna be disappointed if he doesn't say like we're gonna go out and be aggressive. You know, we like this team, we like what we're doing, and we want to add, and we think we have a good opportunity because we do have actually a lot more depth than we thought, right? So I also want to hear this too, and I brought this up. I was just on 590 the radio with Daniele. Shout out to Daniele, he's a legend. I was talking about like, well, he asked me like, what do you want Ross to talk about today? And I think something that will probably get tossed out after all the trade talk, that will be number one conversation. Yeah, will be where are we right now with Bo Bichette? We're not going to ask like, hey, is a Bo Bichette extension coming or is it done? I think just like, hey, I want to know, have you brought up the conversation with his camp? Have they brought up the conversation? Is there a mutual interest here? Like, you don't need to tell me the secrets because we know he's very secretive about the whole, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. situation. But have you had mutual interest? And is that happening? Is that ongoing? Because we haven't heard from that in a long time.
We haven't. Yeah, like the last time they basically talked about that was in spring training, and there hasn't been anything that's come out really since then, which I get it. And honestly, if that question gets asked, be ready for word salad, which a lot of people have been commenting, oh, we're going to get a lot of word salad today. That will probably be what it is if that question's asked, because to Ross Atkins' credit, I mean, unless the deal just so happened to be quite literally on the finish line, ready to go pen to paper, which I'm almost 100% confident it is not. Yeah. How do you respond to that? You probably have to say something similar to what you've been saying, which is we really value Bo. We think he's a great player. We would love to get him back. However, right now we're focused on making this current Blue Jays roster better, which is honestly a fair assessment. I mean, like, that's kind of what it's got to be.
And that's what I think is going to happen. Also, people in here, I wanted to bring this up because this is totally off topic. But did you see that Trevor Bauer has the worst ERA in the NPB?
I thought I heard something like that, and then I didn't look into it, but
I looked into it. Yeah, it's a very pitcher-friendly league, and this is also so funny, like how ignorant people are.
Right.
He has like a 4.13 ERA, which you'd think, that's like kind of average. Maybe it's a little bit less than average because you're thinking about MPB, but no, it's a very pitcher-friendly league. That is the worst qualified ERA amongst starting pitchers.
That's
in the
crazy,
NPB.
Man.
Yeah, and there's people in the chat being like, we got to sign Trevor Bauer. He was sent down. I missed that today. Rip.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys. Everyone's like, oh, he's major league ready. This guy can't even pitch in NPB. Also,
okay, we now have our first update from Ross Atkins. Shout out to the legend, by the way, the absolute GOAT, Keegan Matheson, guys. You wanted to know what Ross would say? This is the first thing that we've got in here, and honestly, this is kind of exciting. Ross Atkins says the Blue Jays have been looking to add a right-handed bat. Cool. Pitching depth sounds like another priority ahead of the deadline. He adds that the Jays have had ownership support financially all along, and that they should be able to continue to flex that muscle. This is good because this is everything that we have spoken about, which is, well, we have a lot of money, so like let's go out and honestly, like, for the people who are on the contracts that may be more expensive, maybe too much for other individuals, let's go and let's get them. And to your whole point about, well, where would we, how would we get this guy in? Who's a right-handed bat? Eugenio Suarez, everybody. I'm looking at it right now. So, honestly, if they're looking at a right-handed bat, that might be somebody that they could be interested in.
Yeah, and again, but they got to figure out where they want to put him, because I am worried that, like, if they, again, I'll take him. I'm not just saying, like, we shouldn't get him. But, like, I'm just wondering where you put him, because, like, if you put him in, you got to kick out Jimenez. I think everyone would be agreeing, like, well, let's kick Jimenez out of the lineup, which I'm totally for. I'm just worried that they won't kick out Jimenez, because that would be the obvious fix. Move Ernie over. Barsher's in right. Eugenio's at third. Or, Ernie's, like I said, at second. You got DHing George Springer. You got Anthony Santander wants to play in, like, maybe left field or right field or whatever. Barsher's back at center. That would be the fit for me. You just got to be willing to kick Jimenez out, and I'd be all for it.
Yeah, if they'd be willing to kick Jimenez out for a guy with an 889
yes,
OPS.
Please. Like, yeah, honestly, like, guys, Ernie is what you wanted Jimenez to be. Ernie's doing it. So, like, just chill on the bench this year, Jimenez. Like, you got to put the egos aside when you make a trade like that, and you got to go put the good guys in the lineup.
Yeah.
Oh, that's on him. I'm trying to talk and also look this up at the same time.
Yeah, there he is. I mean, if this would be, in my opinion, one of the top tier right-handed bats.
Tier. Yeah,
right?
tier.
Like this is, I mean, honestly, you can make an argument. He immediately comes in and is your best hitter with the way that he's playing right now. So that's kind of like the cream of the crop right there. I saw some people in the chat being like, "Oh, I want Robert. I want Robert."
Oh, Jesus Lord.
I don't know if you actually do, man. We could pull up his stats if you want, but I actually made a video about him. I made a video about him today, on our other channel, Bad for Baseball. And he is not very good at baseball, folks. Quick shout out here to Just in the Nick of Time. $5 dono. Have a great Canada Day tomorrow. While we have effectively 300 of you in here right now, if you haven't already done so, hit that like, smash the subscribe button, and then mark it in your agenda. We're going to be going live for the game tomorrow. I know it's Canada Day. I know we should be taking the day off. But fuck it, because we're playing the Yankees. Man. It's a fun baseball game. I want to be live there, so we're going to be live on YouTube watching along. If you have any intention of watching that baseball game and you want to be watching it with somebody, we will be live on our YouTube channel right here.
Well, to milk, sorry to cut you off, but to milk the the quote a little bit more, we're looking for a right-handed bat. I wanted to find Jeff Passan's article right here and find, hey, any right-handed bats out there that we could use? I mean, this would be a very tough ask. He's still hurt right now, so we don't know if he's going to be back and healthy. Number one on Jeff Passan's trade list is Alex Bregman. I know it's interdivisional. That's an option out there if they're willing to part ways with him. Suarez, like you brought up, he's number 2 on that list. Josh Naylor's a lefty, so I don't know if they want to go down that rabbit hole or not, but he is on the Arizona Diamondbacks. But another guy, Marcell Ozuna. That kind of fits right into the Anthony Santander slot, and you wouldn't really have to move around and mess around the infield.
Yeah, honestly, it really does tie back to me, or it all kind of comes into where is Santander at?
Yeah.
How important is it? Because then like if we're gonna get Santander back and he is going to be healthy like relatively soon and owning a spot in that lineup every single day.
Yeah.
Okay, well then maybe you don't need to trade for somebody who is as quote unquote valuable as Marcell Ozuna. Maybe you just need to get like a stopgap until Santander comes back.
Right.
But when is he coming, and how confident are we when he returns? And I feel like we just do not have any answers to those questions right now.
I broke it down on my video room. Like, he hasn't even picked up a bat and swung it yet, and that's a huge red flag for me. Like, you haven't swung a bat. We got a trade deadline, like you mentioned, in a month. So when are we gonna know? We gotta make a decision now, because if we're a week away and Santander's still not freaking swinging a bat, do you just shut him down at this point?
Seriously.
Actually, just shut him down for the whole season.
Because at that point, I still believe in Santander long term, but when we're talking about success for this year, what would be more successful? Trying to rush that guy back in time for playoffs, or get an already extremely hot Eugenio Suarez, who's got 30 bombs to his name at that point? I mean, it just kind of makes more sense than to make a trade and to, as Ross Atkins suggested, flex that financial muscle that they have. Whereas, for some of those more lucrative contracts, this brings me back to the whole Jacob deGrom thing as well. For some of those contracts, people may be more interested in trading with the Jays because, they are able to eat that contract.
Could you imagine a lineup with Eugenio Suarez or an Alex Bregman or whatever you might be, some sort of thumper in there? Because that's what we always wanted with Anthony Santander. Like, the lineup's been so good so far without him. We've been loving it. But you add a legitimate guy like that, like, now we're scary.
Well, and the thing is, too, like, I guess there's a couple of things that I can criticize about this team, if I'm getting nitpicky, but one of the big things that we have been missing all season long, this has just been something on people's minds, is that power. It is that thump. And we still we're winning ball games without it.
Right.
But the Toronto Blue Jays, who have historically always been a home run hitting ball team, just has not had that. And Suarez is 25.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy. My fans team loves him.
Yeah, like he would literally double or almost double the amount of our leader in Guerrero, because I think he's at 13, 14 right now is
Guerrero's 12?
12?
Yeah,
so if that's the case, then Suarez would come in and have double of our leader right now. So honestly, could be an interesting option right there. I see some people in the chat and also on Twitter bringing up this name right now, Taylor Ward over there for the LA Angels. Thoughts on him?
Yeah, like I've never considered Taylor Ward at all. Outfield, third baseman. Not a big stolen base guy. I mean, this guy just feels like kind of like a bat. You know what I mean? Like, when I look at the Blue Jays right now, I feel like we have a couple of these type of players. You know what I mean? In terms of OPS plus, and you know, again, I'm not too familiar with Taylor Ward. The WAR is 1.1, so I don't know if the defense is necessarily that exceptional. Again, I gotta go look at all the metrics. I'm just seeing it right now for the first time. It's okay. You know, if this is like we go and make a big acquisition, we go get a big ace starting pitcher, and then, you know, and we go get another guy in that bullpen that can pitch high leverage, and then you want to complement the roster a little bit with a veteran guy in Taylor Ward, yeah, no, I'm not mad. But if this is like the guy you're getting, it doesn't really make sense for me.
It wouldn't be a huge needle mover.
Yeah, because also
you know?
he's batting .216.
Exactly.
He isn't like, that's not like, oh, he's got 20 home runs. Yeah, that's definitely pop. But you know, yeah, I don't know. I actually just saw that. He had 20 home runs. I was looking at the OPS plus, but so you're basically hoping for a guy that pops a couple.
You'd be hoping for a home run hitter at that point.
Yeah.
Also, we have been corrected in the chat. Thank you very much. Eugenio. I'll just say Suarez because that's a lot.
Eugenio.
Yeah.
Eugenio.
I would like to have Eugenio Suarez on my baseball team.
That sounds like I'm
please.
ordering a drink. I'd like to have an Eugenio.
Yeah.
Eugenio.
Hey, if he becomes a Toronto Blue Jay, we'll fucking figure it out.
Yeah, we'll make the Eugenio. I can't even say it now. I've said it too many times. Any other tweet? Is that literally? That can't be it.
That's it at this point. I'm still scrolling and double checking, but that's the only thing that Keegan's come out with at this point. I anticipate that there's got to be something else that's coming at some point, or else that would be the most anticlimactic Ross Atkins media presence that we have ever seen. I did see some people in the chat asking who would you be willing to trade away to acquire these guys, because that's something that we gotta understand as well. And I know that everybody hates me for ever bringing it up, but whenever I bring up the idea of trading away somebody like an Ernie Clement, it's always because he's got a lot of value. You could get something significant in return. Doesn't have to be him, though, because there's also guys in the prospect system who you could potentially move. Or Elvis Martinez is a name that keeps coming up. It's like, all right, well, he's kind of ready to come to the show, and there is no real spots for him to come to.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that could maybe get moved?
Yeah, at this point for me, I'm okay with moving on from like a Ricky Tiedemann kind of type. Brandon Barriera, I don't know how much value he's got really nowadays. All these guys with Tommy John. I mean, yeah, they're not going to hold that much value, but you're kind of okay if you do have to sell them now, if you do want to dangle that option, because you've got guys like, I know everyone doesn't know what's going on with him, but Alek Manoah is coming back, and he does have the ceiling. We did see it before. Do you want to try him out again now at age 27? You've got also our guy, Trey Savage. Like, that guy's about to walk into the show next year, right? So you do got some prospect there. I'd be okay with shipping off a couple of those guys in that starting pitching depth as well. But you nailed on the head. Elvis Martinez is my number one.
Well, speaking of Trey Savage, folks, Keegan did just come out with another quote from Ross Atkins talking about Trey. Apparently, Keegan Maston asked Ross Atkins if the number 2 prospect, Trey Savage, could be an option in 2025. And this is something that we had been flirting with when the year began. Nobody thought that Trey could come up, but the fact that he's currently leading all of the minors in strikeouts, at least he was, a couple days ago, if he's still doing that, is incredible. The ERA is amazing. Ross says that he's thinking about his development first, and that's not their focus right now, but added, we are not closing doors on contributions from significant impact players in our system. So apparently the door's not closed. What that says to me is we are going to explore the trade deadline thoroughly, and we are going to try to address this problem through trade. If we can't, then maybe we will do this.
Yeah, like, again, I love Trey Savage. I mean, who doesn't, right? Leading the minor leagues in strikeouts with dominant stuff. And for me, I like to compare him to what the Tigers did last year with Jackson Jobe. He's on the IL right now, rip. But, like, same thing. Like, if the season's over for Trey Savage and it's September call-up time, and at that point, the trade deadline's already a month and a half past at that point, you wanna go add a guy to your bullpen that can give you something. He's not playing anyways. You might as well put him in there, just in the bullpen role. I'm not asking this guy to come start 5 innings and face a major league lineup 3 times through. Go face the bottom part of their lineup in a game that we just need someone to save some arms. Go see the clubhouse, feel what it feels like to be in the big league level, and then move on from there. So I'm totally for it. And I like that they're not closing doors, because, that's kind of what your job is.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, it does make sense that, your first thing is going to be through the trade market. Like, that's probably the best case scenario. You go, you deal with it through trade, and then if you cannot find anybody, for a reasonable deal, all right, well, at that point, if Trey Savage is still popping off, okay, then maybe we can talk about something like that.
We got another tweet in here. This one's from Keegan Matheson talking about Anthony Santander. We just talked about it. Ross Atkins shared that Anthony Santander's shoulder injury actually involved a... What the hell is that word?
I'm going to look it up right now.
Whoa! Subluxation? I don't even know how... That X is in the weirdest place ever between two values. Vowels.
Subluxation.
Subluxation.
That's what I'm getting. Is an incomplete or partial dislocation of a joint or organ. Okay, well, I'm assuming it's a joint.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. This guy's shoulder organ gets donated or dislocated. No. Okay, so yeah, we think it's probably some type of joint dislocation, partial dislocation. So obviously that takes a little while to get back from, I guess. I'm assuming. But wow, okay. Well, more significant than I guess they initially led us to believe, which maybe could explain the fact that, okay, this guy wasn't playing good because his fucking shoulder was half dislocated.
Literally, they're like, well, let's not force this issue again. But the good news here in the second half of the tweet is he is close to hitting again. So we'll see, but still tough to chart out how much of a timeline. Okay, so if he's close to hitting, okay, well, what's a positive, outcome here? He's close to hitting a week and a half. Maybe he starts picking up bags, taking some BP. Okay, there's a week of I got to get my timing down again. Maybe a week and a half there. Okay, now I got I got to do a rehab assignment. That's another week there. So that's a month right there. It's going to probably, I'm not a doctor. I don't know how these things work. Maybe they got to reassess and see how he is and how he's feeling and blah, blah, blah. Probably another month.
Yeah, and that's kind of best case scenario too, right?
Scenario.
Like you're assuming that pretty soon it's gonna, we're gonna start ramping up, and there will be no setbacks or anything like that. So that's what's going on with Santander right now. Apparently his shoulder or his arm was half hanging on by the time he finished playing baseball. And then we did just get another one from Shai Davidi right here. A bit of a thread. So GM Ross Atkins positioned the Blue Jays as a team looking to add before the July 31st trade deadline during a discussion with media this afternoon, saying the team is in a strong position, but we obviously can be better, and we'll focus on that. I mean, I think that we can all agree that that is the case right now. They're in a good spot, but they could be better. He goes on to say, based on what the Blue Jays already have in-house, Atkins said the opportunity to add is probably on the run prevention side, more just from a depth standpoint. If we can score more, we'll look to do that. Okay, so that's actually important. More just...
From a depth standpoint, yeah. So
more just from, okay.
And then he goes on to say if we can score more, we'll look to do that. So if you're just thinking offensively first, before we look at the run prevention side, you're just looking offensively, okay, well, that means top talent. Like, we're not looking at Taylor, like, maybe we are looking at Taylor Woods, maybe not. Maybe you look at the 20 home runs and value that. But, like, you're maybe looking at top-end guys. Rotation-wise, too. Yeah, like, the whole conversation is like, do we really want to trade for another 3 guy? Like, then you have to have that conversation come September. Like, who's starting in the playoffs? Like, I'd like to trade for a guy like Merrill Kelly and slot him in knowing he can start one of the 3 games in a while.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't love the idea that it's just from a depth standpoint because, at that point...
Oh, more just... okay. I read that as more than a depth standpoint.
Yeah, that's how I initially read it, too. And then I read it again, and I'm like, wait a second, because, yeah, you're right. I would hope that somebody, like, does somebody like a Merrill Kelly justify this? Or does he fall under that category?
I take everything back I said. I take every single word I said back. More just from a depth standpoint. Don't love that. Okay.
Not a huge fan there, to be honest. Then he goes on to say, adding a right-handed hitter to our team is something we've been trying to do internally and considered external alternatives as well. But on the run prevention side, it's probably going to come from pitching as good as our defense has been, which is fair. The defense, there's no more space for any more fucking defense, Ross. We don't need any more of those. We do, however, need some type of pitcher. I don't love the idea that it's just a depth starter because, like you said, I do want somebody that could start in a 3-game series, if we make it to the wild card. And, just bringing in somebody like I don't even know. I can't even think of the name right now, but I want
Tyler
somebody
Anderson. That's kind of depth.
That's yeah. Honestly, it's like at that point you start to wonder, like, could he be one of those 3 guys? Maybe not. All depends on how he's playing, how others are playing. But yeah, bringing in somebody like a Merrill Kelly would almost assuredly enter into that conversation.
Yeah.
But it would probably need to be at least that quality of pitcher coming in.
Yeah, because the only guys that, from a starting pitching standpoint, that would not be depth, I mean, there's only like a few, right? Sandy Alcantara, Freddie Peralta, if you can manage to swing that, Seth Lugo, Zach Gallen, if he's doing well, Merrill Kelly. Like, there's a few of them out there. I would hope we'd shoot the upside. Maybe it's just more like salad talk, or what did people say? Salad speak?
Word salad.
Word salad. Oh, maybe it's just word salad, just generally saying we need more depth. Doesn't want to offend anybody saying, hey, we need an actual ace in this rotation. But hopefully he's aiming for these upper guys, because it doesn't really.
Yeah, and
it would just be an inning eater. We're not looking
and
for an
let's
inning eater.
remember as well too, Ross Atkins typically likes to set the bar relatively low, with these things, leaving it open ended so that if they do completely swing and miss, then he can go back and he can say, hey, guys, I told you we were going for depth pieces, not the elite talent. I still think that he's going to be in the conversations for guys like Kelly, for guys like Zach Gallen, for individuals like that, which is honestly what I truly believe this team needs at this point.
Yeah.
The fact that they are also looking at a right-handed bat, I think, is pretty important, and honestly something that we're going to need to monitor.
Yeah, I agree. We got another little update on Anthony Santander. A little bit of a different quote rather than what we saw from Keegan's. We got to hear Ross Atkins said that obviously Anthony Santander suffered that left shoulder subluxation. I fucking can't even say it.
Subluxation.
Subluxation. Oh, there we go. When he crashed into the wall in Anaheim in May. The quote is, he tried to play through some pain, we kind of knew that, and got to the point where it seemed like it wasn't the best thing to do. Well, no crap. I remember that whole time I was calling and screaming like, guys, he's hurt.
Yeah.
Put him on the freaking IL.
Exactly.
What are we doing?
Like, what are we doing here?
We're just striking out, and it's dumb. And anyways, moving on. He goes on to say, now at this point, this is Ross Atkins quote, we want to make sure that he's absolutely symptom-free before he returns to a hitting progression, and he's nearing that. Okay, so there you go. Like, that could be even longer. Is that going to be a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks? That could be even longer. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I wasn't really thinking about a bat. Like, I think the bat was my kind of third priority, but now kind of hearing a little bit more about Anthony Santander, if he really is not going to be ready, because I always kept saying, well, once we get Anthony Santander back, that lineup's gonna be awesome. What if he isn't back and he isn't good? We gotta go get that bat. I'm kind of leaning that way. I would love to go make a big splash.
That's the thing, right? And it would need to be, for me, like an actual significant type of individual. And I bring up Suarez because that's somebody where it's like, okay, this guy is so good that, it's going to create some type of conundrum in the lineup, but you just fucking make it work because the guy has 25 bombs, and you need that in the lineup every day. So it would need to be somebody, for me, where the caliber is actually really solid and they will make an impact on this team. I look at somebody like a Cedric Mullins, for instance, and I just, at that point, I don't know if it's really worth it, because offensively speaking, does he justify making a trade? Does he justify changing up people's positions to get him in there? I don't know. Yeah,
because honestly, like, I don't want to trade for a mid bat, you know what I mean, in terms of OPS plus. Like, we kind of have a lot of mid bats. Like, Lucas, mid, just the definition of an average mid bat. Varsho, a little bit better than mid, pretty good. There's just a lot of those. And, like, obviously Jimenez, not a good bat. Like, that's kind of the one weak spot, I guess, right now in the Blue Jays lineup. Maybe Straw a little bit less than average, but we need somebody to be an impact kind of guy. So, hey, listen, if you were saying like, adding Suarez in would create a conundrum, I'm kind of not buying into the idea, well, if Anthony Santander just ain't here, he'll find a way.
That's the thing, like they'll make it.
Barger's in the outfield now.
Exactly. They will find a way to make it work for a guy who is leading the team in home runs. Yeah. You do that. You just make that happen. So that looks to be ultimately the Ross Atkins press conference. If anything else comes out, we will immediately flash over to it.
Yeah.
But let's transition, folks, and talk about that upcoming series against the New York Yankees. Starting tonight, Max Scherzer taking the bump, going up against Carlos Rodon. Wow. Now, this is the Carlos Rodon that the Yankees have always wanted, and they are finally getting him. An ERA below 319 strikeouts. Scherzer, I mean, you know about Scherzer. The answer is we don't know yet, because honestly, he just has not played enough. Last time, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. okay start for his first time out since the beginning of the season. Can we build off of that against what is a tough New York Yankees lineup?
Yeah, and that's all I'm kind of looking for right here. Like, what's Max Scherzer gonna do in this spot? Can he build off that? What you're saying? Like, can you give me an extra inning? Can you give me one less run? Can you give me one last walk? Like, let's continue this progression down the line. Now, going up against Rodon has been one of the better starting pitchers. I mean, that whole Yankee staff has been the best in the last 15 days. So it's going to be a
starting
tough
pitchers.
Starting pitchers. It's been dominant, and we're getting all the best four. Like, obviously, my gut says we're going to lose this one, but I'm hoping that Scherzer shows up. He fucking he's that dog that we got him in here for. These are the type of games that you bring Max Scherzer in for. Can you beat the best of the best, the New York Yankees? Yeah, I know you're 40, and you might not have your best stuff, and you can only give me 5 innings, but can you manage the game? We'll see. With all that being said, though, let's give a quick shout-out to Betway, and then we'll give you our score predictions. Hey guys, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below or click the link in the description to join the action. Available in Ontario only, must be 19 years older to participate, and guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Shout out to Betway, everybody. Here are the betting lines for tonight's game. Yankees are favorited. Blue Jays are the underdogs. Even though we're at home, it does come down to the fact that they have one of their best pitchers. They do have a better record than we do. And also, our guy is thoroughly unproven this season. Honestly, I do think that we are going to lose this ball game tonight. I hate that, but I know that we're up against Fried tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to predict that we win that one. I don't think I have the balls to predict that we win back-to-back games against, pitchers who have an ERA sub 3. So I do say that we're going to lose this one. Sadly, Scherzer, maybe he has the similar outing, but it's just not enough against Carlos Rodon.
I definitely think we have a better chance of winning this one than the Canada Day game. Just because, look, we've beaten up Rodon before. People say in the chat, like, we have beaten up Rodon before. I totally get that. We're great at home. I totally get that. But I think it's going to, again, it's the Yankees. It's going to be tough. I'll say I really want to say we win, but I'm going to stick with my gut here and say we lose. And that will be that. So shout out to Betway. If you want to go download the app, scan the QR code on screen, click the link in the description. Time for the Canada Day game, which is going to be honestly an awesome matchup.
Hell yeah.
You got Max Fried, like we said, one of the best pitchers in baseball right now, up against Kevin Gausman, who looked like Max Fried last time out, going 8 innings with 6 strikeouts. So you say we're gonna win this one?
I just can't actively sit here and tell you guys with a straight face that the Toronto Blue Jays, Canada's team, is going to lose on Canada Day. It's unthinkable. It won't happen. Kevin Gausman was a dog last time out. I anticipate a similar performance at the Rogers Center at home. Yeah, Max Fried's going to be really good, but this is going to be one of those hard-fought games where the offense comes to life in like the 6th inning, and they put up, a 4 spot, and Blue Jays win something like 4-1. So I will take the Toronto Blue Jays on Canada Day, which, once again, we will be live for.
I'm going to say we lose because Canada Day means they're wearing red jerseys, and we lose every time in red jerseys.
There's got to be some. Eventually, the other shoe will drop. The math is going to start mathing. I say it starts tomorrow.
Okay, well, I hope you're right, because that'd be awesome, because it's Canada Day, and we get to watch it live, and we win and beat one of the best pitchers in baseball. Because mine would suck if we go 0-2 to start this series. Now we're thinking, oh shit, like, can we salvage this and split the series? And we might be able to. LaMaquina on the bump on Wednesday up against Warren. LaMaquina, if you haven't known already, one of the better pitchers in the last month of baseball. Sub-2 ERA up against Warren, who's been hot as of late. But give me LaMaquina at home. Give me a W. First one in the series. We're 1-2
Dude,
now.
This is how you know that we have just like a bunch of 3 pitchers, because they all have their month where they go crazy.
Yep. This is his month right now.
June was the month of Jose Barrios, right?
Yep.
The guy had, just to give you the exact numbers here, folks, 32 innings pitched and an ERA of 1.97 in June.
Yeah.
LaMaquina was, in fact, a machine.
ERA is looking good now.
Oh, the ERA is starting to look like an ace.
Yeah.
Right now, it's you can actively look at this guy and go, okay, I can put you out there on the bump in a playoff game, and I can feel marginally confident that we will walk away with a W. And I do feel that way on Wednesday. I say that the performance continues into July, at least to start July. Blue Jays win 2 games in a row for me. Going into Thursday, looking to potentially win the series.
Yeah, and then on Thursday, we do got Clark Schmidt up against Bassett. Bassett did not look good his last time out, really at all. Up against Clark Schmidt, though, he's been very dominant. But wow. Pitching matchup says we'll lose, and then we're riding the wave of Bassett. He's been struggling lately. But does he become a dog and show up? You know what? Like, listen, I'm not going to go back on what I said, but one of these games, either the Scherzer game or this game, they're going to pull a W from. Because it feels like those 2 pitchers, hey, it's Max Scherzer and Bassett, they're best buddies. They've been around the league a long time. They're veterans. One of them's going to show up in a spot at home at the Rogers Center, win a game, and they're going to scratch and claw. So I'll say we win this one. And we split the series, and I would be totally cool if we split it because we didn't lose the series. But I would love it if we could do a little bit more. But if we could split it, I'm good.
I will say that we do a little bit more. Yankees have not been the same Yankees team in the month of June as they were previously. Toronto Blue Jays, on the other hand, certainly have been and have been very good recently. I know that Bassett, this one scares me a little bit, and I was flip-flopping back and forth between whether or not I want to say that we split this thing or whether we win it. I don't know, man. I'm feeling the patriotism of Canada today. I'm feeling the fact that we are 7 games over 500. I'm feeling the fact that if they do win this series, I mean, we're right within spitting distance of that division. The bias is creeping in here. It is creeping in, but I do think that the Toronto Blue Jays lose tonight and then win 3 in a row to take the series.
Wow, that would be awesome. And that would bring us, 2 games closer to them, right? Because drop 1, we trade 2. That would be 1 game behind them.
Be 1 game behind them. God only knows where Tampa will be at that point.
Yeah,
probably well ahead.
They might be in first.
They might be in first by that point, but doesn't matter because we got to control what we can control, and that would be kick ass. We are going to get to the final segment of this video shortly, but first things first, they did come out with one more update from Ross Atkins. Shai Davidi here saying Blue Jays reliever Jimmy Garcia is in a really good position after throwing 2/3 of an inning on rehab with AAA Buffalo yesterday, said Ross Atkins. I think it's just deciding whether it's in the next day or 2 that he's returning to the team. So honestly, the roster move could be, could be very soon.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. And then I just saw one from Ben Nicholson-Smith. There's a one that we already looked at, which was Trey Savage. But this one right here, in terms of Arjun Namala, if he keeps excelling at Class A Vancouver, a promotion to Double-A seems logical for Arjun Namala. Look at that.
Hell yeah.
From there, performance would dictate the next steps for the 19-year-old. That's crazy. 19 years old, maybe going to Double-A very soon. Guys, the next wave is coming.
That's the thing. He's been quick with it. Him and Trey are both skyrocketing up the system. That's what happens when you play good baseball.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be shocked if Arjun Namala, you start to flirt with the idea of him coming up to the show, maybe even sometime next year, if he is performing well once he hits Double-A.
Yeah, I would love to see it, man. Love to see the updates. I feel like that's generally it. Maybe there's a Bo update somewhere in there. Maybe. Well, if we miss anything, we'll post it on our Instagram, talk about it on our Twitter, guys. So make sure to follow us on there for all the latest updates. But we are nearing the end of the show, but we cannot sign off without doing the wheel. Where's the wheel? Where's the wheel?
Spinning.
There it is.
All colorful.
What?
Future determining. Stat analyzing. And it's a wheel that we spin every week.
It is, in fact, a wheel that we spin every single week, folks. If you've been following along, this has been a pretty tight year so far. I took an early lead. Adam clawed his way back, took a lead of his own. Now things are all tied up. I had myself a nice week last week. I know that I picked Kevin Gosman for worst J. So that, you picked him for worst J. So obviously that worked to my favor because the guy was phenomenal. Almost won J of the week. I also picked Alejandro Kirk for OPS, which, like I said, is always the right thing to do, and he did win for me. And I guess the last one was a null.
Last one was a null because, what was it?
Stolen bases.
No, it was something. It was something else weird. Was it? What was it? Oh, it was walks. We tied. Yeah, we tied.
Okay, and I believe it is my week.
It is your week.
So here we go, folks. Spinning this thing. Can we keep the hot streak going? Canada Day, 7 games in a row here.
Yeah,
so lots of baseball to be played.
Worst
and
J.
it goes to Worst J again. And God only knows. Oh, fuck me. I don't know, man.
There's too many good Jays.
That's the thing. Like, there's actually too many good Jays at this point. Last time I picked Max Scherzer, and I mean, it did work out for me because it just forces you into a spot where you got to pick a pitcher that
I'm just picking whoever's coldest.
Exactly. Like, you got to end up picking a pitcher that you don't know about. But honestly, I will allow you to pick first on this one.
Okay.
Because I think that there's a couple options I can go with depending on where you go.
Now I'm looking over at the offensive side too. We're here some Jimenez. I thought Jimenez was actually doing good. Classic. Or a lot of people are saying Classic actually. Let me take a look at the offense, because you're right. Like, Max Scherzer could easily pop off and do the equal to anybody in this rotation.
It's a gamble, man. You're gambling.
It is a gamble. Let me take a look here. Clase, he does get playing time. Give me the hits. Where are you, Clase? There you are.
Right there.
Oh, he's terrible. Wow, he's really bad. Yeah, give me Clase. He's really bad. And I need 15 plate appearances. In seven games, I feel like he'll get it. So,
Okay. All right.
Clase.
That's fair enough. If you could flash back over there when you're done, because I got to go with an offensive player now, everybody. Who should I go with here?
This is the month of June if you want to make it any smaller.
Go like last
15?
15 days would be good.
Jimenez, yeah, you could go Jimenez.
Yeah.
Let's go Jimenez.
Yeah, I mean, what am I? Yeah, of course, right? It's got to be Jimenez.
Yeah.
It has to be Andres Jimenez. That dude is just... He's not it. He's not it, folks. All right, I feel honestly pretty good about that one.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's kind of the same in the pitcher. It's like, oh, who's gonna be?
Yeah, ultimately, it's look. The wheel is we know our stuff, but it still kind of comes down to luck. And of course, I mean, for crying out loud, like I don't. That is so bull. What is it? Vlad now? Is that who's stealing?
Vladdy. Oh no. In the last 15 days, it's been George with 2.
All right. I don't have to think about it. That's what it is. I mean, like.
George.
Yeah. Look. You genuinely never know with this.
No. Yo, I might go balls along and go Vladdy. But
dude, again, what's the worst that could happen? Like if he puts up 1, like you probably win.
Jimenez did get a stolen base. Malstraw. What's the chat saying? I'll just go with whoever's most in the chat. Jimenez or Clase, Jimenez, Springer. Well, Clase hasn't got a stolen base in like 2 weeks. So I'm gonna go the guy who they seemingly go back and forth in stolen bases all the time. But like they're getting the playing time. Or they're gonna go on base. Bernie Clement. Okay, let me look at the season here. George, yeah, Andres, Miles. Miles isn't bad, but can't play. I mean, yeah, fucking Jimenez. I don't know. It's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up, man.
Yeah.
God only knows what's going to happen with the stolen base. We don't steal. The Toronto Blue Jays just never steal. Final spin of the wheel, guys. If you haven't already done so, hit the like, smash the subscribe button. We do appreciate you. And it's going to land on...
Walks. What a fun week.
Dude, all these categories are the ones that, like, really... I never know. There's never a clear answer for the, which sucks because it's my week to pick first, and usually I want to be picking the clear ones here.
This is total of the year, obviously. Vlad.
Well, I guess that is, and then can you show me the last 15?
Clement and Guerrero.
It's got to be Vlad then.
Yeah.
It has to be Vlad for walks, folks. Vladdy's the walk. He walks. He gets his steps in, folks.
Last 30 days. Clement's been walk. I just don't trust Clement to walk. That's all built up over the last like 5 days.
No, he doesn't walk normally, man. He just doesn't do it.
George walks a load. He is second on the team in walks. What's everyone saying? Clement TBH? I cannot do Clement TBH.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Clement has just started walking. But it's not
rare.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't
not
happen,
consistent.
you know. That's not something that you can really rely on.
With that being said, I'm just gonna go with the large sample size. What are they? Oh, it's either Kirk. It's either Kirk or Springer for me.
I think they're both fine, man.
Fuck it, I'll shoot my shot at Kirk. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I just want to pick it. They're both honestly toss-ups.
Dude, I mean, look, pretty much.
He's
I think I've won every time I pick Kirk in any category.
Yeah. I don't
So,
care. I probably should have went Springer, but like I don't care.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
I want to go Kirk.
Kirk walks a ton, bro. I mean, at any given week, either one of those guys could pop off.
Yeah.
So that is the wheel, folks. You guys let us know in the chat who you're riding with for the wheel right there. A lot of categories that could go either way. We're going to be live for the game tomorrow afternoon. It is at 3. So happy Canada Day to everybody. If you're having a long weekend, then enjoy it, folks. Come join us tomorrow during the afternoon for what should be a very good game of baseball. Fried, Gosman. Hopefully, we're looking for the second win in a row against the Yankees.
Absolutely, guys. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to Blue Jays Today. It is $4 a month to become a YouTube member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current YouTube members. You guys are absolutely awesome.
Thank you so much for watching. And as always,
go Jays, go!
Also, totally agree, Chris. Wheel, it's sold. It's sold this week.